This video is brought to you by my supporters on Patreon. Hi guys, I'm here with another video in my Brigitte work log, and in this video I'm working on her belt. Sorry ahead of time, I didn't get as much footage of this as I did for other pieces. Anyways, I've already went ahead and cut out the pieces on EVA foam. This EVA foam is 6mm thick, and here I'm just dremeling down the top layer. So I'm adding a bevel to the bottom edge of the top layer. All of these patterns are up on my store Envy, by the way, or Etsy if you prefer shopping there. Both of the links are in the description below. Yeah. This foam also has a textured side, so to make gluing a bit easier, I go ahead and I dremel down the texture on the back as best as possible. Then I apply contact cement to the back of the top layer and the top of the bottom layer. Wait for that to sit a little bit and get tacky, following the instructions on the bottle, and then glue those together. And then once those two pieces are glued together, I go ahead and add contact cement to either side of the back center and then stick those together. The front center is left open because that's where the belt buckle goes, so that doesn't need to close because it's going to close via a buckle. Working on the belt buckle, I'm starting off by sanding down all of the pieces. So this round piece with the circle in the center is the top layer of the buckle base, and then this is the little gear piece, and then there's another little tiny dot piece that goes in the center of the gear that I also dremel down. Now I start putting contact cement onto a majority of the pieces. To start off, I glue the top layer of that center base piece of the belt buckle onto the bottom layer. Once those two pieces are glued together, I go ahead and I take my scissors and I cut at a very sharp angle all the way around before going in with a Dremel to sand and smooth that out. Then I finish gluing the other pieces together, so I add the gear into the center of that belt buckle and then the little tiny center dot piece into the center of that. Next, I take my Dremel to sand down the edges of the belt. Once that's done, I prime it with wood glue, about 5 to 7 layers, and then paint it with spray paint, I believe I use, because it's silver, so I think I use silver spray paint, or acrylics work too. And then I shade it with oil paint before adding another top layer of glossy spray paint. These are the pieces that go on the side of the belt buckle, and I'm just scoring this little cube shape that's right there that you see drawn out in the video, and then hit it with a heat gun later to open that up so that it has these indentations that her armor has. To create the sharp angles, I also cut or dremeled away on the inside 2 lines on either side, added some contact cement, and then I will fold those shut and you'll get a sharp angle in the foam that way. And then to attach it to the belt buckle, I took 2mm EVA foam and just glued that on to the underneath of all the pieces, so it was one long strip and it was all held together with this 2mm EVA foam. Although it might be better to use slightly thicker foam for that because one of them did end up ripping off. Anyways, I've also primed this with wood glue with a couple layers, and right here I'm just sanding it out because those edges were still really rough, so I sanded in between each layer before painting it again with spray paints, oil paints, and then topping it off with a clear glossy coat of spray paint. Here I've cut out her pieces that attach to the belt, and these are all in 6mm EVA foam as well. All of this gray dark foam is 6mm EVA foam. The colorful foam is 2mm EVA foam. And here I'm taking a Dremel to Dremel out this square indentation that her armor piece has, and then that little curved line that you saw drawn on that's where I take a heat gun and shape it to curve it forward because that piece does bend. And then here I'm doing that same method of scoring the foam and then using a heat gun to open it up so those indentations are there. Again, I didn't get much footage of this, so right here I've already painted it with acrylic paints. I'm just shading it with oil paints before topping it off with a clear, glossy coat of spray paint. Sorry that was so much in so little time. For some reason, I just didn't get much footage of this. Anyways, I still hope this was helpful. Thanks for watching this video. Have a lovely day, and bye!